Hey guys, it's Cameron here, and before we get into this video, I just wanted to say, this isn't going to be like a funny, goofy video. If you're here for entertainment, this isn't really the right video, and if you're sensitive to, like, serious topics, that I would recommend clicking off the video, because this is what this video is about. So, I was going to make a full life story because I don't really talk about me a lot, but I'm going to save that for a long time ahead, because I'm still growing up and it kind of ends really sour. So, I'm just going to talk about what the point of making that video was. And if you have noticed, there's definitely been a shift in me over the past few months, and I think that was very evident to you guys, at least for my perspective. It was very obvious, and I was trying to kind of hide it. There's something that you guys should know, that I can't just keep hiding this and keep covering it up, because it's nothing to be ashamed of. It was something really touchy that I didn't want to go into on camera and online, because I guess it's really personal, you know? So I didn't know what I was going to do, but I think it was kind of obvious with the breaks I took. I tried to like cover up and just say I wasn't in it, but I was really like happy with what was going on. But I guess I'll stop beating around the bush. It's one of those, once again, it's one of those things that I don't feel comfortable talking about, because it's something I've always denied the thought of having. It's one of those things, it's like, I didn't want to be one of those kids. I didn't want to be like sad all the time. I didn't want any of that to be associated with me, because I was always such a happy guy. But I guess I kind of like gave it away there. I've been depressed. I've had depression. Now the way mine, I guess, goes is like, at times it's really rough. Times are so rough, and then I'll start doing really good, and then I'll just go back to rough again. And recently things have been going better, and it's been more of good, rough, good, like unless sometimes it was like a long period of me having a rough time, but now it's just like maybe a day or so. I've just been trying to really stay positive, and I've always been like that my entire life, and then this hit and I didn't know how to deal with things. But honestly, I'm glad I'm here today, and this video is really going to go into things that I need you guys to know, and I need you guys to hear, and something I plan to go off and help and be a big advocate for, and that would be suicide prevention. I really want to be a huge advocate for suicide prevention, and here's my story, here's why. So a few months ago, when things were going on, I'd say a month ago is when everything really happened, but a couple months ago things seemed to be going down. But then I had a friend, she's probably watching this video, and she's always been there for me, two actually, but one I mainly went to. She was always there for me. She understood. I think she did some of the same stuff, or had some of the same problems, and she was very understanding, and she was always there for me through whatever was going on. And she's like one of the big factors of why I'm still okay. And then my family's always been so supportive of me. And the thing with when you're down is you don't think about that kind of stuff. You just only think of the negative. You don't give time to think of the positive, and you shut people you care about the most out. And sometimes it won't always be the case. You'll talk to a few people, but I shut so many people out, and exclusively talked to the friend who was trying to help. And even then, I was somewhat rude sometimes, or just really, like, I guess, negative. And I was probably like, and she's still being a good friend. She's still like helping out. But now that you like, cause you're in those like moments of just, it's just all dark and you don't think of anything positive. You're not thinking about what you're doing to the person you're talking to, if you even have that person. But it's just not healthy for either person. So I have learned from my mistakes, and I still have more. That was not the story, trust me. But I'm making this video to kind of give advice and be there for you guys. But here's where things, like, here's, I guess, what the main point of me trying to do this is. So, about a month ago, I gave up on everyone. I shut everyone out, and I wasn't set on committing suicide, but it was definitely a thought that I had. And I don't know what made me think this, because I wasn't as suicidal. I wasn't too suicidal. What I did was I made a huge mistake, and I hung myself to, I guess, this is gonna sound kind of morbid, I guess, but I feel like I want you guys to put this in perspective in a way, I guess. I don't know. If you're sensitive, once again, please click off the video, because I don't want to hurt anybody or or trigger something or bring something back that you just don't want back. So if you are really sensitive to these topics, please click off, and I understand. And if you need someone to talk to, my Twitter DMs are always open, same with my Instagram DMs, and I promise I'll try to be there for you 100%. Anyway, so I took a belt, and you get the idea. And then I hooked it to my fan, and I made a huge mistake. And by the time I realized I didn't want to do this, I hit a nerve in my neck, which has a very, very low survival chance. I mean, it's really risky. My doctor told me it was like a 50-50 chance. Now, I don't have confirmation, but I assume he's right, but I don't know for sure. He said he didn't know for sure, but still, any chance at all of survival from hitting that nerve is scary. And I hit it, and I got lucky. I blacked out. But there's also a problem. I'm hanging right now, and I'm blacked out, and I'm not 100% sure how long I was up there, but when you're in that position, you're causing brain damage, and to a point it's recoverable, and then there's a point where it's irreversible to the point of living, and then there's a point where it's irreversible to the point where you're not going to die immediately, but you will eventually, like really soon. And it's very morbid. It's really sad to talk about, but I got lucky, and a miracle happened. I fell off, and from my perspective, I couldn't feel anything. I could just see, and the expression "your life flashes before your eyes" is real. That happened, and I saw me just falling and hitting the ground, and like, I guess, jolting up, because I guess I was laying down, and all really fast, all really like quick, like that. But I couldn't hear it or feel it. And then I regained my senses and consciousness, and I was just hyperventilating, and it took me a minute to realize what just happened. But ever since then, I told my parents a day or two after, which I guess I was scared to do, but I guess the moment in which I did it was the right time, because it was just something that was in my head and I couldn't get out. and I went to the hospital for a good 4 days, and I learned a lot more. Learned a lot more coping, because I have anxiety and depression, and I have anxiety medicine. But I learned a lot more of how to deal with my stress, my sadness, and if it gets sad, because most of the time I'm okay. But I want you guys to know, if you don't take the risk, I had possibly like a really low chance of survival, and the fact that I'm still here is a blessing. Please don't take the risk, because you have so many people that care about you. After all that happened, it's hard. It's hard to like know what would have happened, because when you have to tell your family, when you tell your parents, and you see both your parents cry, it's hard to realize what could have just completely, what you could have completely like messed up so much. You've so much going for you. You could have completely changed their lives for the worse, because they're gonna have that on them, and nobody will understand why you would do that. I don't understand why I almost did that, and I'm really, really glad I didn't, because I realize if I would have done that, then I would have hurt a lot of people, and I didn't realize that at the time, because I wasn't thinking about it at the time. But that's for everyone. If you're watching this video, or even maybe you're not even watching this video, and you don't know I'm talking to you, but I'm talking to you. If you're experiencing what I felt, what I experienced, and sometimes still experience, you are cared for. You are loved. I don't care if I'm some kid talking to a camera, and you're just and you're some kid or some guy or someone just watching me on their device or their computer. I care about you. I love you, and I wish the best for you. And it might mean nothing, but it's true. And don't give up. Don't think that there's no way to. Don't think that there's no tomorrow. Don't think that tomorrow doesn't hold better days, because it does. I promise you. And don't think that that's the option, because you're really hurting so many more people than you think you are. And you really don't realize how many lives you've touched, and how many people you that care about you, and even the people you care about. Do you think they want to hear that? Like, that would hurt them so much. And to see someone with so much potential, and I promise you, maybe you don't think you have potential, but you have potential to do what you really want to. If you're passionate for it, you can do it. I promise you. Do you think I could? I bet you, if I told myself 5 years ago, hey, you're not a bad editor, and you have 1,000 subscribers on YouTube, I would slap myself in the face and say you're funny. No, like, it's just really heartbreaking. And then recently we had the Etika news, and I was really, really pushing for him to be okay, because I knew if he was, then he would have the perfect opportunity to do what I'm doing now. And I didn't want to be alone, right? I didn't know the guy, but I didn't want to be alone in what I was doing. And I know I'm not, but it would be like, I know he'd probably have the same story as me, or a very similar story. And it sucks to see what happened. And I'm tired of, like, God love him, everyone who asks to call someone or talk to someone, but really, I've been there, and when you're there, you don't want to. You don't think about it. You just want to be alone. You don't want to go through all that. It's more stress, or what you think is going to be more stress, or more anxiety. You think it's just going to make it worse. But once I finally got there, even though it could have been way too late, once it finally got the help I needed, it felt so much better. And knowing that could have never happened, and it could have been too late, it just makes me feel so thankful that I'm okay. So please don't make the same mistake I did. please know that you don't have to shut everyone out. And if you see this happening, if you see your best friend shutting you out of nowhere after you did nothing, there's something up, and get help. Please don't hold back. Get help, because you don't know. And even if there was nothing going on and it seems silly, just know that just proves that you care about them. It just, like, if you see it potentially happening, please do something about it. Would you want to lose your best friend? Or would you want to lose the person you care about, or someone you like, or someone that has, like, had an impact on you? Imagine that, right? And if you see something up with them, please do something. Please try to do something. Even if you don't know what to do, I promise you, there are steps online to help your friends. And I don't recommend this. I recommend talking to someone professional. But you can DM me on Twitter or Instagram. But I recommend not. I recommend calling the hotline, because that's not just for suicidal people. That is for people also seeking help for a friend. It works in any aspect. If you need help for a friend, call the Lifeline. It is meant to give you advice or to help suicidal patients. It's very helpful. There's always another chance. There's always a better tomorrow ahead. I promise you. There's always a better day ahead. There's always a better tomorrow ahead. The stress that you're feeling, the sadness that you're feeling is not going to stay here forever, I promise. And I know I've been rambling for 20 minutes about this, but I promise you are loved and cared for. I'll put the numbers in the description, because I know if you have hope and you're suicidal, still call the numbers. Even if you don't think that they will help, I promise you they will. Or get help, get a counselor. A counselor, it's between you and the counselor. It's not between anybody else. I know this because I have a counselor. We keep it between me and him. He gives me advice, and I go along with my day, and he's awesome. Please get a counselor. I promise. And I thought it would ruin my schedule. I thought I would have no time for anything else, but no, it actually fits right in. They're very flexible. Okay, I promise you. Or call someone, get help. Because I promise that there is hope. There is a better tomorrow. And if you're a friend, you're seeing someone, use the numbers. All right. So I'm gonna go for today. I have VidCon coming up starting tomorrow, and yeah, I'll see you guys next time.